All right, honest question. How anxious are you doing this?
I'm not bad. I am full raw dog right now. No beta blocker, nothing.
Really?
Yeah. So, but I'm turning a new leaf today.
Why? What leaf?
Like a maple or maybe an oak. No, I don't know. Sometimes I've known you for a long time. I feel very comfortable around you, but I think it's been, I've learned lately to just kind of like go into things, I'm going to be vulnerable and I might get nervous and I just kind of have to feel whatever my body's feeling and be like, I've never died from this, so I'm not going to die this time.
That sounds like therapy taught you that.
It is.
Yeah.
But
Same.
I get that when I go on stage.
You still get anxious going on stage.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I played 2 weeks ago, and I hadn't played a lot of shows this year, so I was going into the show days before, like, stomach hurts, and I'm not even really thinking about it, but my subconscious mind is thinking about, I'm preparing for a show, but my body feels like I'm dying or something because it's just so much pressure that I'm putting on myself. I get to the show, I'm like backstage, dancing with the band. I'm trying to do things to loosen myself up. And then I'm like, holy cow, I can really feel intense right now. And I feel tight and my chest feels tight. And I'm just going to go out there. Never died on stage. I've never passed out on stage. I've never thrown up on stage, but my mind feels that way sometimes. And then I go out there and there were some of the best shows I've played in a long time. There's some of the first shows I've played in a while too, but they were amazing. So I guess even in those moments, my nephew was in the crowd at one of the shows and I started to have the feelings of adrenaline, I'll call it. It's really like some people would say panic or something, but it's just it's the same thing as adrenaline rush. So I start feeling that, and I start feeling the kind of wave of like me wanting to jump out of my skin and out of my body and like run away. And this is one of those spinning stages, where it just slowly spins, and it's like an arena sitting in a room. And I was like, okay, my nephew's right here. I'm gonna go engage with my nephew and like do this for him and be strong for him. And then as soon as I grounded myself into that, I looked at him smiling. I looked at him just kind of in awe of the crazy experience. And he's like 3 years old. Then I kind of grounded back into it. So I've learned these different tools, but I think I've just kind of tried to accept that we're sensitive people, being creative people, and it's okay to be sensitive and be up here. And there's so many people out in the crowd that would never want to do something like this either. And like, I'm just as scared as they are in some ways, but I want to be a voice to be able to just express what people are going through, what I'm going through, what I've experienced with heartbreak, with love, with life, with whatever it is. And maybe that's okay to just kind of feel a little on edge because you're doing something that's important to you and also scares you. And maybe that gives us our gift. I don't know.
I asked if you felt anxious because I know you've talked openly about being anxious before shows or even interviews, especially interviews, because you don't have control over that. At least a show you have control over. Yeah. Like you're the guy that runs it, but you're walking into a different setting where you're getting interviewed. You've talked about being anxious before, but you and I are friends.
Yep.
And so the juxtaposition of us being close in real life versus this is a setting that you don't usually find yourself being comfortable. I wondered how you really felt.
Yeah.
Like driving over here.
Yeah. It wasn't bad when I was driving over here. Like right now, I could feel it a little bit right here. Even if it's lights. It's like, it's all these old programming, like, Good Morning America. All right, we're going live in 10, 9, 8. And then all of a sudden, I started to have that thing come over through my head of, oh my God, here comes the pressure. Millions of people about to watch me. Nobody, like, it all this zooms in and closes around you. And so sometimes cameras and stuff can do that to me, but I've learned exposure therapy is a great thing. If you go up and you show up, it is the number one way to get through something. Like if you're scared of spiders, Mike can be over there, stand there with the spider, and you'd be like, okay, that kind of scares me, but he's over there. And then he moves like halfway over here, and I'm like, okay, I'm still alive. And then eventually, and he gets closer, and eventually I'm holding it in my hand. I'm like, I'm a Spider-Man now,
Yeah, I found myself after having done a few really crazy thing with heights.
Oh man, I remember the Grand Canyon thing or whatever.
Yeah, a few. Still being really scared of heights. However, because I had to jump off a cliff in Norway with Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Had to do a different one in Northern California. Had to do the Grand Canyon. Had to learn how to stuntman off a house. I hate heights.
Yeah.
But it's not that the heights were easier, but it was, I've done this before and gotten through it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. Because I remember having to swing under the Grand Canyon. It's 4,000 feet. It's the scariest thing I've ever done. And I've skydived. And I hated
Same.
it.
I hated it too.
And I was sitting on the edge of the cliff, and there's just a rope that was keeping me from dying. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I can do this. But it's almost like a secondary voice comes in and says, regardless of what you think, you're going to do it. Mm-hmm. So it's either go ahead and do it now or wait and be miserable for another unspecified amount of time as you sit here. And that's what got me to go to the edge. Was I knew I was going to do it eventually, so let's just go. And I've done crazy things before. And I think what that's done is allowed me to do other things I'm really scared of. It doesn't make me less scared. It allows me to be open to the possibility of getting through it and being stronger at the end.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, do you get, is your anticipatory anxiety really strong when you go into that? Like, the night before, tomorrow I'm going to be hanging off the Grand Canyon underneath this.
Depending how big it is. How drastic it is. Yes. That one, I couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Because I knew what was going to happen, and we had done some pre-production the day before, and I looked at it. Some of the stuff I didn't know until I got there. But yeah, that, and even doing the radio show, I don't sleep well. Mm-hmm. Because every night I'm going to sleep thinking I might oversleep and be late. And if I'm late, the show's not going to be good. If the show's not going to be good, ratings are down. If ratings are down, I'm not going to have a job. If I don't have a job, I'm going to be back in the trailer park or back. Yeah. All of that happens, and that's a different version of anxiety. Yeah. I don't have performance anxiety at all, but I do have getting there anxiety. When I was doing a bunch of stand-up, I felt like I was going to be sick every day of the show.
Yeah.
I got a sore throat coming on. I was convinced every day I was getting sick and I wouldn't be able to go on.
You get a tick kind of thing? Where
always.
Me too. I got to clear my throat or something.
Or I start feeling that early stage of a sore throat, even though it's not there. Yeah. I'm like, I might be getting I might be getting a little sore throat. Do you deal with that at all?
Oh, yeah. I had at one point, and I could talk about it now because I understand what I was going through, but I had what they call dysphonia.
I don't know what that is.
It's basically you get obsessed with how your voice feels, and the connection of your muscle and your voice. You get so focused on how tight it feels and how it feels tired that you think that you can't sing anymore, or that your voice gets really tired. And so I would go in the first song and I'd be so clenched, so nervous, and so tight. I'd be thinking about my vocals the whole time. I want them to sound perfect or whatever. It's putting so much pressure that I was focusing on that. And in my head, with one song in, I could hardly even talk. I could hardly even sing. I would still make it through and I would still sound okay. But in my mind, I was in hell, and
how'd you know this existed though?
A lot of singers have gone through it, and I went to a specialist. I went to a psychologist, a therapist that specialized in that, and they started doing all this work on my neck, neck muscles and all this stuff, and I slowly started to understand that, maybe the PT stuff was doing something, but really I was just thinking about it so much, and what you just keep thinking about, you keep focusing on it, focusing on it. And it becomes more of a thing. And then eventually I kind of had to just train myself to loosen up. That's why I started dancing before shows with the band and engaging with people in the crowd when I'm nervous, or instead of just holding onto the microphone for an hour and a half as tight as I could. And nobody in the crowd, this before I kind of started opening up to my fans and everybody about how I would feel, was nobody in the crowd even knows you're experiencing that. But in your head, you're in an absolute vortex of emotions.
Why would you get into a career that is so hard for you to even get on the stage?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think about that all the time. I think I still think about that. And then I play the show and I'm like, that was so fun. But I think about that a lot. I was like, man, it'd be so much easier to just, I don't know what else I would do, but work on a fishing boat or something. I don't know. But it would be That wouldn't be easy life either. I've seen fishermen, they get up at like 3 a.m. But I do think about that a lot. But some reason I've just had a pull that like it continues to pull me back even when I play less shows than I used to, but I still have this feeling of like this is an important thing for me to do. Like I need to do this. I don't have to do it on somebody else's terms. I want to do it in my own way, but I need to do this, and I can't let the fear keep me from doing it. And so there was a time where I kind of stopped almost fully for a while, and I was like, I got to find some balance because I need this in my life.
Did you feel like you missed the stage, or you feel like you needed to get on the stage as a kind of a coping mechanism even?
Oh, the both, because I had to learn if I did miss the stage, I had to go play a show to see if I did. You know, the kind of thing of it's such an avoidant thing after, you know, I went years of playing like 100 some shows or whatever, and I had so many amazing things, and also with success comes pressures, comes all these things, and I got so burnt out that especially once 2020 came, then we were used to not being around people, which then made somebody who's already kind of a shy guy in some ways, you don't see that on stage, get even more used to being away from other than the close core people you're to. So I kind of had to like tiptoe back into getting back out there to see, do I still like this? Do I still love this? And the answer was yes, but I'm still always finding that dance of what the balance is, you know.
You said you played less shows. What was that decision?
I was just kind of like, you know, I have the Christmas thing, I have my other shows, but like I wanted to be home and like work on relationships and life too. Like I'd been on the road for so long. I mean, I've been on the road for a decade, missing friends' weddings, missing, you know, family events, missing all this different stuff. I wanted to be there for the birth of my nephews. I wanted to get in relationships that I could actually stay in. You know, I wanted to really have that part of myself too, because I felt like I neglected that for a long time. I mean, and in some ways that's kind of what it required, I think, to learn that also I can do both, but just with a balance. And so that's kind of where I've been now, and, you know, and just kind of learning that balance.
My anxiety would come on ticket sale days, the most.
Oh, yeah.
The most. And I would be like, this could be the time that I'm over, because if nobody buys tickets, all right,
nobody cares.
It's over. Yeah, I'm not bouncing back. So I would get extremely anxious on those days. Is that an anxious day for you?
Oh, yeah. And releasing a creative project, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if I release something, you know, I've been so excited. I'm playing it for people. I'm very also scared to play it for certain people, like, because you're so dear to this art, you know, you're like, okay, like, I can't, I have to wait till it's exactly perfect in my head before I play it for anybody. But, like, the process is what feeds me of, like, creating music. I love that. And then the feeling I get subconsciously, even going into releasing music, even if I don't realize that's what I'm thinking about, kind of like a show, but once that, whether it be dopamine or excitement of like sharing it is then launched out and it's out there, I feel this kind of drop of like, oh man, like, cause you have this expectation, it feels so good to you that no matter what happens from it, whether it went to the #1 on all genre or whatever, your head, you just were in it so much that through the years, it was treating you like this is what success is or whatever. Like it's got to be somewhere way up at the top. And I've had to learn slowly through the years because that really doesn't matter as much. I mean, it does. You want it to do well. You want people to receive it well. But at the end of the day, it's like you got to feel good about it. You got to love it, and you got to be able to go home and go to bed at night and be like, man, I made music that was me. I can't please every single person in the crowd, and I sure as hell can't make every person want to drive around and listen to this because that's just impossible.
Are songs ever actually finished then, if it were up to you?
Not a lot of the time. I mean, I was on my computer earlier, and I've started a Substack, and it's kind of more long form articles and stuff. I've got
that you're writing.
Yeah, that I'm writing. I'm just stuff to express myself, and because the kind of quick, you know, dopamine, 13-second video stuff, just my brain is past that right now. I'm so burned on it. But I have so many written that I haven't finished. And then I looked at another file next to all these songs that I've never finished. And I've always got all these different songs. I guess you always have a place to go with them, but a lot of times I'm sure they just sit there 30 years from now. Maybe my kids discover them in a file.
After you die, we release them.
Yeah. After I die, and then they become hits from like my voice memos on my phone, or somebody made some weird meme or some weird song sampled from it. But yeah, I think it's really hard to finish something.
What about like your hits or even songs that go on an album? Would you still tinker with them except there's a deadline?
Oh yeah, all the way up to it. There's still like I think there was a part in "Wanna Be That Song" that annoyed me. Even when I put it out, I can't remember what part it was. And now it just is what it is, and I'm great with it. But there was a part for a while where I was like, God, I wish I'd made that part of the bridge a little bit different, or whatever it was. I can't remember. And I still remember thinking that. I'd be like, that's so stupid to care about that. It's like a lot of people love the song. It's become a hit or whatever. But there is this part of you that like kind of has to step back and be like, you gotta just let the ink dry at some point and let it fly. But it's really hard. I've found that really hard to do.
Yeah. So do you think that deadlines are the reason a lot of your albums got done?
For sure. On anything. If I don't have a deadline, I recently got diagnosed with ADHD, and when I was a kid, I got diagnosed with like a processing disorder and dyslexia. So, but I mean, maybe that was what they were going to call ADHD back then, but at that point it was just, that's what they called it. So I got a time and a half on tests. And I still, like, the kids would get done with their test 30 minutes in the class. I'd still be on my first page by the time everybody left the class. Then I'd have to go to this different room from everybody. Like, it's always taken me longer to figure things out. It's also a gift, I think, in some ways, because I think differently. I think a lot of creative people have ADHD or whatever, or these different ways of seeing things. But finishing a task is really hard for me to do. And yeah, if I didn't have a deadline on about anything, I would be in trouble. I think because that's usually also when I do some of my best work, is that it's crammed in. I've been ruminating on all these different ideas over and over and over and over for a long time. I just haven't put them to work because I hadn't had to. But if I have a deadline, I'm working on a Christmas children's book, and the call was earlier today, and I hadn't even finished my revisions yet or anything. And then I sat down like an hour before the thing, and I got it done. But that was only because I had the deadline. and I wish a lot of times I'm like, why can't I just do it like a normal person? That's what your head says, is like, what's wrong with me? Or why can't I just do it like a normal person? And I do feel that way a lot of the time, but also like it usually ends up happening. I just got to have good people in my corner that help kind of guide me along. And I'm sure it's very frustrating to deal with somebody like me in that way, but it also, here we are.
What's up with the dyslexia? What did they what version? What kind?
I don't know. I guess I didn't know there's different flavors, but.
Yeah, like Eddie has dyscalculia, which is a number type. Amy has dyslexia, where it's not so much backward, but things are out of place. I don't know if there was ever any specifics they gave you about yours. Is it backward at all?
It's not. Yours backward? I know, like, when I read I do all audiobooks, and I don't remember because it was so long ago when I got diagnosed with that, but when I read something, I have to go back and read a bunch of times. So it's not like technically I read backwards. I don't retain it a lot.
That could be the ADD or ADHD as well.
Yes, for sure. And when I got diagnosed with that, probably, I don't know, 6 months ago, I did all these questionnaires. I had like a specialist that I was like, I want to really dive into I'm always trying to figure out what's going on up here. And he went through all these questionnaires. He called close relationships of mine from my family and stuff to see how they experience whatever these things are, which is a very vulnerable thing. They're probably telling him, like, yeah, but I thought it was cool. Like, luckily he didn't tell me all the things that, they had said. Maybe that actually would be good feedback. But he had came with, that I had diagnosed with ADHD, and I wasn't surprised, but I also felt kind of seen in a way of like, I've known my whole life that it didn't like make me feel less than. It just made me feel more like, okay, I'm not crazy on when I struggle with these things like clutter, or I get really anxious from clutter, but I also make clutter because I can't figure out where to put it, and organization and that kind of stuff. But I can create really well. You know, my therapist calls it ADHD sometimes, like attention deficit hyperactivity gift. Like the gift part, it can be like a gift in some ways. It feels a lot of times not. But if I'm writing a song, I will jump around to about 6 different ideas in the middle of the write, which some writers, I'm sure, get driven nuts. Like we could be 2 hours into an idea and I'll just lose kind of that feeling of this is wasting all of our time. I have this other idea, and then I'll bounce to another one. And somehow, usually, my instinct will go, this thing feels like the best expression of me. And so I think without that, I don't know if I would have the same creative skills and gift, if you want to call it ADHD. And so in some ways, it's really debilitating, and it makes life very difficult sometimes. Even when I was a kid, I can still hear my mom saying, when you take something off, take it straight to the hamper and put it in the hamper. And I'd be like, I'm trying, Mom. I've tried this so many times. And I still hear that in the back of my head. And I still struggle with it all the time. And I'll see something that's sitting in the corner of the room that I've been saying I'm going to move for like a month, and I still haven't done it. And I know I want to do it, but I just get frozen from all these different things. Or booking hotel rooms. If I have different options, I freeze, and I'll take months to do it.
Are you able to pick a TV show or a Netflix show if you
that's hard.
If you don't have one going in?
That's really hard. Like I'll do or even restaurants, like go through Yelp for like an hour to figure out the exact one. And I remember that show, Master of None. They did that on that show. But it's so true. Like I'll spend an hour maybe not an hour, but half an hour, but it could be an hour looking for the right restaurant, for the right hotel. And at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I would have had a good time at any of the restaurants, any of the hotels. I would have enjoyed it either way. I just need to jump into the thing. It's easy to say that, but when you're in that space, man, it absolutely freezes me up. But
last question about this: have you tried Adderall?
No, but I've tried a non-stimulant medication for that, and it didn't work for me. It works for some people. But I'm kind of open to different ways of trying different medications, because I think I saw something like I'm a big researcher. Like 6 to 8% of the population has ADHD. So like 15 some million, or I can't remember what the number was, but in the U.S. and there's a lot of downsides if you don't treat it. To relationships, sure, to a lot of different things. So I'm not against it. I think everybody's got to find their own thing. I'm always cautious, but I'm also open to trying something.
I'd never tried Adderall. I mean, especially growing up.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like I have any sort of ADD or ADHD. I like hyperfocus, which I also learned is a version of it as well.
Really?
Hyperfocus.
Hyperfocus in what way? Like
on anything. I get obsessed, even addicted. Even working on a singular project, I get hyper-focused on. I can't do anything else. I won't even allow myself to get water, because until I get to this point, I don't deserve water yet.
Really?
So it's very much that. And I'd never tried Adderall, but then I had, and it's something I haven't talked about a bunch, but I had those, and you know about it, but I had those ischemic strokes, at 3 of them. And we had tried all kinds of stuff to get my brain back, almost like jump-started, like kick-started.
Mm-hmm.
And my doctor was like, you should try Adderall. Because I was like 80% there.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about for a year, I just couldn't click right. And we had just found out that that's what it was, these blood clots in my brain, and that it had created these ischemic strokes. And it's like, try it out. And so I started taking it. And it was the greatest thing I had ever tried, except I super hyper focused again like I did before, but I felt like myself for the first time forever.
Yeah.
And I stopped taking it probably, I don't know, it's been a while since I've taken it, but I only stopped taking it because I got fearful that I wasn't going to have it anymore, because I would see all the news stories about how they were running out of Adderall. And I was like, I got to get ahead of this. I got to stop taking it, because if I get attached to it or addicted to it or dependent on it and they run out, my life's going to be over. Then I started getting anxious about that. So I just stopped taking it. But it's what helped my brain so much after those strokes. I think I'm probably 97% there at this point.
Really?
But I think Adderall, and I'd never known to take it, but there are people that took it in college and they were like, man, you focus so good. I didn't really feel a different, I never felt like a euphoric feeling with it.
Right.
Because I would watch like Righteous Gemstones and they would like take Adderall and be like, let's get messed up.
Yeah.
I never got that from Adderall. It actually made me feel a bit like I used to feel before I had those brain issues, those blood clots.
This made you feel normal, kind of.
Made me feel as close that I've ever felt to being back the me before I had those brain issues.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, and that was kind of like a last-ditch effort by us. He was like, you should try Adderall because it could actually affect your brain in a way that stimulates it, because it is a stimulant for sure. Yeah. And I tried the slow release. And for somebody that doesn't sleep well anyway, and it's still slow releasing at 3 o'clock, never slept. So then I would take, and I forget the name of it, but it's a pill that's not a slow release. Like, it hits you all of a sudden. And then by noon, it was gone. Now
and then you're just like,
well, I still had trouble sleeping, but it wasn't from the Adderall. The Adderall affected me in a way when it was a slow release that it was affecting my already bad sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I just thought, well, they're going to run out, so I'll go ahead and cut right now.
Yeah, like what happens if a zombie apocalypse happens?
And I don't have any Adderall. So I'm going to be
that's where our anxiety comes in, as it is.
Yeah, so I started feeling anxious that they were going to run out of Adderall, so I stopped taking Adderall.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel any different not having it now, but it really did help my brain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm convinced that is what stimulated my brain to more of a sense of normalcy. Or it could have even been, because I'm a big believer too in that if you just believe something, sometimes you can trick yourself into thinking effect. Big time. Yeah. I could have taken it and felt more normal and then convinced myself that it's possible to feel more normal, that I'm not totally broken. Yeah. And since it was like the first time they ran a 4-minute mile, right? Nobody could do it. One person did it. Then everybody started doing it.
Yeah.
I took it and then I thought, I can be more normal again. So I'm going to work toward that. And so, I haven't taken it in a long time, but one, it worked so effective. It was so effective for me. And two, I think I needed that.
Yeah.
Like I needed that.
It's so interesting. There's, we live in an era of so much information thrown at us all the time. And there's a lot of bad stigma towards medications and everything. I used to be very very natural, and I still am as much as I can. But even with anxiety through the years, and I haven't really talked a lot about this, but I'm very much, I would try to just get through it by, sheer strength and resilience, and I would never think, okay, I'm going to try medication, because there's all these things of, you just hear all this different stuff online, and it felt like a weakness or something to try medication.
Yeah, there's definitely shame attached to it.
Yeah,
I had to get through that too.
And it was stupid. I mean, hindsight, it's stupid, because I ended up, trying different things, and I found something that really helped me, and I took for a while. And so, I think every person needs to go to a doctor and talk to them about it. But I think, meditation's helped me a lot. They're all just tools, and they're not going to cure your ailment or whatever you want to call it, your challenge. But even with something like I haven't, because I remember one of the first doctors I went to, he's like, I'm not going to give you Adderall because it's pretty much legal speed. And that's I remember telling my therapist that, and he's like, that's the worst kind of way of phrasing it, because this actually saves people's lives and it really helps people. And so, yes, they can be abused, and there's different medicines that can, but there's also stuff that really help people. And I think everybody should be curious, and also know that it's not gonna cure you, but there are different tools from natural to pharmacological, whatever it is, that can help you. I fully am open to different ways that helps you move forward in life.
My wife is a big part of me removing the shame of taking medicine. And I have a different history with taking anything, because a lot of my family died from drugs and alcohol. So it's kind of a double. But I remember I was going through some issues, and I didn't want to take this medicine, and it's a bit PTSD. It was a bit of, I got a bunch of things happening up here.
Yep.
And she was like, if your knee hurt, would you be ashamed to take the medicine?
Yeah.
If your stomach was messed up, would you be ashamed to take the medicine? If you had blood pressure issues, would you be ashamed to take the medicine? Yeah. And I was like, no. She's like, so why would you be ashamed to take medicine just because it's working on a different part of your body?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good point. And then she said, what if one of your friends came to you and said, I don't know, I have shame. What would you say? I'd be like, no, it's medicine. She's like, exactly. Like, treat yourself with the same love that you would treat somebody that you do love.
Yeah.
And I felt like that impacted me in a very healthy way. And so now I'm able to be a little better at taking any sort of medicine because I understand if I'm not abusing it, it's created for a reason.
100%.
Yeah, so Adderall, it is pretty awesome. I haven't had it in a while, but man, it's pretty awesome. I remember speaking to my wife. I remember we went to your Christmas show a couple years ago for the first time, and her relationship with you has been that of she did not know Brett Eldredge, the singer.
Yeah.
Because especially all during COVID when she moved here, you would obviously come over, and we hung out a lot because there was that. You had your circle, and you just hung with your inner circle, and we were in each other's inner circle. And so we had spent probably a good year and a half spending a lot of time together, but there was no performance aspect to any part of us. There's no we didn't talk about really music unless it's music that we like to listen to, but it was like we'd eat food and talk and hang out.
Played knockout and
whatever it was so normal. And we went to your Christmas show the first time, and it was a little weird for her because she didn't know that version of you. And I've told you the story, but she was like, I don't know, this feels weird. Like she felt like you were going to come out, and if it was the same guy that we hung out with, she was going to be like, this is awkward. And you came out, and you embraced and definitely attacked the stage, and she started crying. And I was like, are you okay? She was like, I've never seen him be so in his element when you were doing your Christmas shows. Like she was emotional at watching you own something and look like that you just belonged there.
Yeah.
And
cool.
There is such a difference. It's the same person, but it's different parts of that same person of you when you get up on stage. And I would say especially during the Christmas shows, because I've seen you perform in a bunch of different ways.
Of course.
But when you come out and you're in the tux, it's almost like you're putting on a costume.
Yeah, like Superman.
That allows you to be a different version of yourself. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and it 100%. And I think I always feel it almost as like a Superman cape, throwing on a velvet tux, because it gives me this confidence of all the people that I loved doing that growing up too. Like I idolized the Dean Martins and Sinatra and Nat King Cole and all these people, and I don't know, like it becomes this aura of old soul storyteller that I get. That's kind of a huge part of who I am, but I get to like really step into that, and like it's not a character, but it in a way, you know what I mean? Like it's fully me. It's just the most full, exaggerated version of me, and in a way that I mean, like it's fully my heart, but it's like I am getting to perform it and portray it in an extreme and powerful way, and it makes me feel like I have an important story to tell. It also builds pressures from other parts of my head, but when I really get to see, when I go out to these shows and we're coming up, I think on next year it'll be like 10 years of Glow, which is crazy. When I get to go see these just beautiful venues that we get to play these shows at, and I see everybody dressing up, and like people are wearing top hats now and full tuxes and dresses and ugly Christmas sweaters, it's like a very much a tradition now. To get to see that and get to feel that, and like it reminds me of like when I was a kid decorating the tree with my mom and dad, and listening to Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby, and like all that kind of just swirls in this feeling of tradition and connection. It really gives me this sense of purpose, and it just transports me in the weirdest way that I can't even really explain, other than if you go see a Glow show or whatever, you can feel it even from everybody in the crowd, because this music is it's such a shared experience for everybody. Everybody has some, people have different stories, but if you love Christmas music, you have different stories that of family or friendship or whatever it is, or just watching these movies or listening to this music, and you have this like feeling of connection with everybody. Like it's a shared experience. And so, yeah, I am up there, but it's kind of everybody's show, and I just get to be this like larger than life part of it that like pulls us all together, and I'm really pulling from all their energy as well, and it's just really cool to do that. Do
you put the tuxes on before the show again to make sure you either haven't lost or put on a bunch of weight?
Oh, every year. And like this year, I this year I've been lifting a lot, and like I know I don't look like crazy jacked, but I put on a lot of muscle through like over the last year, and I tried to put on a tux the other day, and it did not. One of them did not fit the way it like my
arms and shoulders.
Yeah, arms, shoulders, and chest were tighter there. And I was like, damn, I guess I'll just have to go get more. I have so many tuxes. But yeah, every year, because I do it, and I've got these really nice tuxes. But
how many do you have?
Probably 15.
No way.
Oh, yeah. I would say 15. I would say no less than 12, but probably 15.
Do you have an entire...
I'll probably get 3 or 4 more this year.
Do you have a closet of them?
Yeah.
And it stays in a different part of the house? Like it's a dedicated tuxedo closet?
Yeah. And I will tell you, because a couple of years ago, I left one on a plane, and it was this whole drama, and we couldn't find it. And I know it was in the plane. And eventually, like, social media, all my fans got on and actually helped us find the tux, and I got it back.
Where was it?
It was somehow just magically appeared from the airline. Like, it wasn't there. And then when I told the story about it, fans got a hold of that, and all of a sudden, all these people from different airlines started hitting me up. I can't remember which airline it was. I don't want to call them out.
Was it like a lost and found?
No, it was, well, I don't know. I don't know.
It just showed up.
It just kind of all of a sudden, like, I couldn't get a hold of them. I had like my management reach out or something. And as soon as like I had talked about it on some podcast or whatever it was, I can't remember, some of my fans caught onto it, started talking about it. And the next thing you know, it shows up. And so, but these things are so delicate, like these tuxes, and they're really nice, but you know, I wear these every year. So like, this is my persona, you know, I want to feel a certain way when I put on a tux. I love a good suit, a good tux. I love the way it makes me feel confident in it. It fits good. And so I have these really nice, but like if you get a little bit of, like I remember Edgar, you know, I used to bring him on stage with me.
Your dog.
Yeah, my dog Edgar. He's been retired for years now, but he used to be on stage with me, and he got a little bit of drool on one of my tuxes, but it's velvet, ruins it. One time I was doing a Target commercial. I had a red velvet tux on. They made it fake snow on my head. The whole tux was ruined because it was the fake snow was like a wet, like fake snow.
Did you invoice them for that one?
They had already bought it anyway. So,
nice.
but just anything, if you breathe wrong on those velvet tuxes, they get injured. At one time, a dry cleaner ruined a Tom Ford one I had. They just kind of they're very delicate, so you have to really handle them with care. But I love having them, and I think, you know, there's things that I'll pass on to family one day, and I love that.
How did these shows start?
It started at a place called the Sutler. Do you remember the Sutler? It was in Nashville. I think it's like a Poncho and Lefties or something now. It's
like a small bar.
Yes, it's like a small bar. It's like there's a club in the basement. And I was like, I want to start doing these like a jazz Christmas show. Play some because you know, jazz is just as much a huge part of my life as country was. That's kind of how I started. So I was like, I want to do one of these shows. I'd already had hits on the radio and stuff, but I wanted to really have some fun and just invite some friends, some industry people that, you know, people from the label, all that kind of stuff. So we had like maybe 100 tickets, like a golden ticket kind of thing. We invited them to this show. It wasn't called Glow yet. It was just like a jazz. I had like maybe a 3-piece or 4-piece horn section and a rhythm section, like drummer, piano player, bass player, guitar player. Down there, we played the songs. It was like really, I had the tux. I was fully in the groove. Hadn't found the exact groove of what it is now, but that was the start of it. And then and everybody kept talking about it. So the next year we do it at a little bit bigger place. I think we did it at Skulls Rainbow Room, which is downtown. And then we did it, you know, like City Winery maybe the next year. And then we did it at the Country Music Hall of Fame. So we just keep growing it every year. And then all of a sudden I made the Glow album, and I was like, I'm going to fully record this music. It's not going to be like people know enough about me that I've got this jazz background, that I've got this crooner kind of voice kind of stuff. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to try to make it country. I'm going to do exactly what this kind of stuff that I grew up listening to that I love, and I think we can pull it off. And we went and made the record, and it just worked. Like when Glow came out, it worked. And then all of a sudden, we did like one show at maybe Irving Plaza, I think, in New York, a little venue, but like pretty old classic venue. And then it just took off. And then every year we do one night at the Ryman, 2 nights, 3 nights. We did Bridgestone last year. We go to the Beacon multiple nights, Chicago, 3 nights in Chicago. And so it just kept growing. And it just like, I get to do this thing that I love, and as much pressure and as much like small amount of time, you have a window of 3.5 weeks to do this tour. Like, and it's a lot in a short amount of time, but it's so much fun and it's so fulfilling in a way. I just have to stay on my A game. I got to get my best sleep, and because I feel this obligation to bring something special to the crowd on these shows. And like if I could, I was saying this the other day, if I could convince it, and I want people to see my regular shows too, and they're really special, but if I could convince anybody of anything, it was to go see a Glow show, of anything in my life. Like I want them to see that because it's a once in a lifetime kind of experience to be able to step back into this, comfort and almost like escape the world for a while. And it's way bigger than us up there on the stage. It's kind of everybody. And I think it's just a tradition that, I'm just glad to get to be a part of.
And so you're doing this year, 12 dates, looking at the cities here.
Yeah. Tell me, because I don't remember all of them.
Boston,
yep.
St. Louis,
yep.
New York, Chicago, Detroit, Nashville.
Yep. Yeah, and it's so hard to pick how you do it because there's such a small amount of time, and fans get so mad. Like, well, why don't you come to California, or why don't you come to Florida? It's like, there's only so many days, and you have to hit these major Christmas cities.
What about the band? It's a big band with people that you don't normally play with.
Well, now that's how I used to do it. I used to fly to like New York. I'd have the players from New York, which are like some of the best out there. But we have incredible jazz musicians in Nashville. And so we're like, let's keep this consistent. I don't know, maybe 4 years ago or so, we started traveling with Nashville musicians. And so we have the same band now. So
the whole band really travels with you? All the brass?
Yeah. We have a 8-piece horn section. So it's like a 12-piece orchestra. Yeah.
Is that way more expensive than your normal band?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's an expensive experience. It's an expensive experience, and on the business side, but like for me, it's like, it's very expensive to put on, but man, there's the only way to do it. And it's so worth it for me. Like I would rather spend that money and like feel that punch of the horns and this explosion that you feel of energy from the horn section, and also like the gentle moments of Oh Holy Night and Silent Night and some of these original songs I've got to write. And it's just a beautiful flow. And without that big orchestra, it makes the experience even more special. And then the stories, I share these stories of my past, from being a kid to still creating memories with my family every year. And it's just really cool to do that. And I think all of that kind of makes it the element that makes it special.
If anybody's going to these shows, I'm sure some of you are that are listening, I would make a suggestion that there are a couple times during the show where the music cuts out and Brett sings very a cappella. Mm-hmm. Don't talk.
Yeah.
Like that people have no understanding of, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Because it's a moment. And what's one of the songs that you do that? It's the end.
I do. I close with the first Noel every year.
Yeah. And so the band goes down and it's just you.
Yeah.
And that's really the only time that I think everybody's encouraged to be quiet.
Yeah.
Because these are songs we know. Everybody sings along and you have good energy. Your band leader's great. Everything's happening and it's awesome. But the first Noel, it's a shh.
Yeah.
And there are shushers, and I respect the shushers.
I love the old third grade school teacher shushers.
I respect the shushers if somebody's talking in this situation, because I never have a problem with any kind of show of singing along, of having a good time, standing up, like do all of that. You bought a ticket, it is your right.
Yeah.
But my encouraging moment here is don't talk during the last Noel. Would you co-sign that?
The last Noel.
The first Noel, sorry.
The last Noel. Starring Bobby Bob.
Yes, the first Noel, yeah.
There was a first, and there certainly is a last. I love that.
You would encourage people to be quiet for that one, right?
Oh, yeah. And I've had I've had some weird stuff happen during that because mostly everybody knows it too. Like it's a tradition now to where I close with it. Like I want it to be how we end every show because it's this really gentle moment that is so magic, and people stand up sometimes, people cry. Sometimes somebody will sing along with you and they're way out of tune. I mean, there was one time where
and there's no music again.
Yeah,
there's no music.
It's just me. No, I'm not even holding a microphone. And it's actually Tony Bennett used to do this, and that's how I wanted to try it. It was like Tony Bennett used to put his microphone down and sing a cappella to the crowd, and I'm a huge Tony Bennett fan. And so I wanted to try it, and then I did it, and it started to just become this thing. Well, yeah, I've had years where somebody up in the balcony one year was so out of key and it's hammered drunk, and they're singing the first note well. And I am about to lose it. I'm only person singing up there with no music. They can't take a solo behind me as this lady's just shredding the first Noel and every note that doesn't exist in the actual key of that we're singing in. And I just held it together. But everybody after the show, the band's like, "Did you guys hear that lady?" It was unbelievable. And it still makes for great memories, but I'm so glad that hardly ever happens. But you can't predict anything from a show, but that's cool too. But I love that the prediction is that the shows are going to end like that because it leaves everybody walking out like with this piece of joy and warmth in their heart, and they can go on to their life, or they can hug the person next to them and think, you know what, we were all in this room sharing something special together. Nobody was fighting. I've never had a Christmas fight. I've seen fights in my crowds at regular shows. Yeah. I remember playing Mean to Me one night and watching a guy just pummel somebody over the head from but I've never had a fight at a Christmas show, and it's not that kind of environment, but it's pretty cool.
Did you ever think that you would play your hits during the Christmas shows, at least at first?
You know what? I made a full commitment. I was like, because, when the tour first started, I didn't know if people would understand. Like, this isn't a, country show at all. It has nothing to do with a country show. This is full-on Christmas. And I was like, I can do that in other shows. I want this to be full-on Christmas. When you come, this is what you're getting, and it's going to be really damn good. And so I never did any of my other songs because it's just a whole different thing. And I wondered if it would be a problem, and it was like the opposite of that. Like, it was just like everybody knew what they were coming for, especially after we started to build it every year. And it's just like, yeah, it's full on Christmas, nothing else, and it works.
What's your biggest song? Not Christmas. What's your biggest song? What song do you play at a show and you feel the most energy back from the crowd?
Drunk on Your Love or Beat of the Music, maybe?
Don't ask me. I'm asking you.
No, I know. Yeah. I don't even know either. I mean, I'm trying to think. It's different every night, but I would say between Drunk on Your Love, Beat of the Music, and Want to Be That Song. Between those three, I think.
You just pick
I picked three songs because I don't know. It's a lot of times I close out with Beat of the Music and people go nuts for that one, and that was a big one. But some nights people really want to be the crowd that throws their arms up and Want to Be That Song and wave them around, or some people want like a groove like Drunk on Your Love. So it's so hard to pick. But I would say if I had to pick one of them, maybe it's Beat of the Music. But it's definitely a toss up.
What was the song that changed your life?
Ooh. I think that the album that changed my perspective was Sunday Drive. The song that changed my career.
Yeah, like what changed your career? You're in town, you're trying to make it.
Yeah.
This song, you cut it, it gets put out, and your life is different after it makes its run.
Don't you, for sure.
The first hit.
Yeah, the first. And that was, took like 50-some weeks to go number one. And yeah, it was a really slow climb. And yeah, it was definitely Don't You.
Did you have any songs before that didn't work?
Yeah, Raymond. Raymond was my first single, and it was about my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and so I wrote a song about basically a guy working in a nursing home that forms a relationship with one of the patients there that she thinks he's her son, and I wrote this song about it, and it was It was a beautiful song. I think it went to the 20s, like maybe 22 on the chart. So it wasn't like a big hit, but it was a good start.
That's a hard launch. That's some deep stuff.
Yeah.
I'm new artist Brett Eldredge.
Yeah.
Here's a song about a nursing home lady.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. But it was like, my grandmother had passed from Alzheimer's around that time. It was something important to me. And I'd always loved that about country music, is like, you can go straight to the heart, even if it's deep and sad. Like, I was like, I'm going in. And I think it was the perfect way to launch, because it gave me some legitimacy, but I had to go back and I had a whole album put together before Don't You came. And I once Raymond kind of like did his thing and fizzled out in the 20s or whatever, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in. No one said like this album isn't going to work. I was just like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to write a bunch more stuff. And I just started grinding. I really got into working out. I tried to like get myself healthy, and like, you know, if I'm going to go hard. And I wrote Don't Ya, Beat of the Music, Mean to Me, like all these songs from my first album. And then that was the album that became the album. But there's still songs from that first album, but it was way more, there was some really like super country stuff on the first one. And then I went back and kind of found more of what was me.
When Raymond didn't work, was there at all like an internal crisis?
You know, it's so weird. The way my mind works now, I would probably think so. But I don't know. It was like kind of this thing of, you know, I had a record deal, which is never a guarantee. I mean, there's, you know, so many people that get record deals, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes luck is on your side, sometimes it's not, whatever. But for some reason, no, it's almost like fired me up more to like, I'm going to go figure this out. I think now, like once you get the success, you're like, oh, I've worked so hard to get this. Okay. What happens when that changes, or when you know, and then you have to just revision what success is. And I've definitely done that over the last 5 years or so, probably since COVID. But at that point, yeah, I would have thought like, if I looked at it in my mind from years later after success, you'd be like, yeah, you'd think that would have shot me down and been like, oh man, maybe I'm going to have to go back to living in my little town in Illinois or whatever, you know, but I never had that.
I'm surprised you don't have a boat.
You know what? The reason why I don't have a boat yet is because I'm scared I'm going to crash into somebody else's boat. I don't care if I hurt my boat, but I'm very much like a non-confrontational person in a lot of things. And I spend a lot of time in like the Bahamas and different places, and there's so many nice boats. And then like the worst thing that I imagine in my mind is I'm trying to park my boat and I run into like somebody's yacht or something, and all these scary rich guys like come out and like all this stuff gets involved.
That's your irrational fear?
Yeah, serious.
That the boat you haven't bought yet is going to crash into
100%. I'm worst case. Absolutely. I'm worst case scenario. And I almost actually a few years ago, probably in like a bachelor stage of like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, I almost bought a boat. And like, I was like seriously looking at one. I was like, I could live on a boat like in Florida and just like live on a good sized boat and like have, you know, bedroom or two and have family come visit. But I was like, I'm never going to probably drive it. I'm not going to drive this big boat around, and I have to park it. And
then you probably crash it.
Then I'll probably crash it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so I never did that. But maybe one day, you know, technology is advancing and it's going to be able to drive for me. So, you know.
That's a hilarious fear. It's not sinking. It's not drowning.
Yeah,
it's crashing into somebody richer than you's big boat.
That is what my brain, through, what do you want to call it, anxiety through the years, is looking for that crash. You know what I mean? And I've had to like retrain it. Like, I know that's not a rational fear. You know, if I have a pain in my arm, am I dying from shoulder cancer
arm
or
cancer,
something?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. You have arm cancer. Yeah.
So I have that dialed in my system. I have to override it by being like, that's silly. That's just a thought. But that is my thought on boats.
What's your relationship with your phone right now?
Really good. It's much better. I did the flip phone back in the day. I did all that stuff. Now I've got something called Screen Zen. You know, I've always got the tech.
Dude, I know.
It's called Screen Zen. I'm only on Instagram maybe 5 minutes a day. For a while I was doing it like 30-minute on a different app called Opal. But now I have this thing called Screens In. It makes you wait 30 seconds and tells you to take a deep breath. And I'm usually like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to go look at stuff that I don't care about. So usually I'll just zip out of it. And the only times I'm really on it doing that stuff are like if I'm posting my tour dates or something. But I can't do this stuff anymore. I can't do that. I did so much of it, and I can't blame anybody for doing it. I am so burnt out on phones. It makes me really anxious. Like if I look at social media for more than 10 minutes, I get tight in my chest. I get really anxious. I get to feeling like I'm supposed to be doing something different than what I'm doing right now. I get to feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough on there. So I've really my relationship with my phone's better. Sometimes it annoys people because I don't say a whole lot on there, but like I'm going to my shows and that's where you're going to get to see me. But I just like the balance more of where I am in my life with everything. I think I'm learning it more. It's just a day by day process, as you know.
You used to have, I don't know if you've ever shared this, and I don't think you'll care, but you used to have this app that you had to like have a password or.
Oh yeah.
And it'd cut you off, and like your manager was the only one that had the password.
Yeah.
What was that app?
Part of that was just the screen time on your iPhone, but I would have somebody else set the password. So there's absolutely no way that I could get on apps once that time went up. So like if somebody's like, well, we need you to post about your new album coming, I'll be like, sorry, I ran out of my 20 minutes. I am allotted a day. And they'd be like, well, how are we going to tell people your new album's coming? I was like, we'll have to wait till tomorrow. But I think having those boundaries has helped me because, I was at one point the Snapchat king. And that's what I had all these weird names. Like I was known to be a social media guy and it just exhausted me. And I just, I think it's a great tool in some ways, but for me, it's tough. So I got to put boundaries, and I got to find a balance, and I'm always trying to learn what that is.
As far as texting goes, it might be a 5-minute return, or you might not text me back for 36 hours.
Yeah, you too, though. But game knows game, baby.
Yeah, I think it's different though, because I know. You're not a big phone guy.
Yeah,
you're just you're not a texter. If we're going to have plans, it's either you'll hit me in the morning and be like, you want to play pickleball in 30 minutes?
Yeah. 100%.
And I totally respect it. And I'm like, yep, I'm in or not in town. But I know if I'm going to ask you if you want to do something, I need to give you about a day and a half because you might not even see it.
Yeah. I either don't see it or I saw it while I'm doing something and I'm ADD and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to respond to that.
Yeah.
And then I don't get back to my phone, or I have major decision anxiety of just making a plan. And I don't want to let somebody down of what time I do it. And so I'll freeze and then I don't know what to say and I don't want to let the other person down. That's sometimes why I don't. A lot of times it's because I'm not around it or I'm just dazed and in a different planet or something. But sometimes it's a lot of times I get, I want to say the exact right thing in a response in a text, even though to you, I've known you forever. So I'm not worried about what you think about what I said really, but it's still hard. I get definitely anxiety of feeling like I should respond to somebody right away. And then they get stacked up of it's not like I get 1,000 texts a day, but even if I got 5, I might struggle to get to someone because I don't know exactly how to say exactly what's there, even if it was just okay.
What about
yes.
red dots on your phone? Do
what are those?
Do you allow them? Well, unread emails, unread text. Yeah, they just to me those are just red dots. RED dots. Yeah, red.
RED or READ?
No, RED.
Oh, that's read.
Yeah. Well, it can also be red. It can be both. But RED.
Take that out. Oh my God. READ is not red.
It is.
Well, it is. You're right.
Yes, it's both. It's both. You're good.
Right. Oh my God.
You're good. It is red and read.
I am not high, but it made me feel high.
I was just asking, do you leave the color red, because that shows you the red's the dopamine color that they put on your phone. Do you have them on your phone, or do you have to keep them all clear?
Oh no, I have so many on red. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I have I mean, I don't know, my phone's over there, but I think I have 30-some thousand unread emails. Does that make you want to?
Yeah, because if I pull out my phone, the only messages that are unread that I have are the ones that have come during this interview. So
Really?
right now I have 3 unread emails.
No way.
And 5 unread texts, and that is just what I've gotten since we've been sitting here. Yeah.
But
it's a different kind of focus. Like it's overly. It's overly where I must eliminate.
Like that can make you have anxiety too.
Crazy anxiety.
Like I have anxiety also because I have so many unread, and it's just like stuff piling up in the corner of the room or whatever. It's the same kind of thing. It's like having 30-some thousand emails. Somebody sees, they're like, and a lot of times I get emails, I don't even know I got them because they're just, and, or text sometimes too, because it's like, I don't even know what is what. But yeah, I'm a hoarder for texts, I guess.
One of my texts from you going, just got here.
Yeah.
I don't keep
that, and that's me basically saying, in case you're not ready for me, to say,
no, I text you before that. It's like, hey, we're back.
Yeah.
You know your way around the yard, so I wasn't worried about you getting back here. Usually Mike has to go up and meet people at the front because I'll try to go in the house. And that's awkward.
Yeah.
Like they'll show up and my
Stanley
wife
will eat them too.
Yeah, my wife's like, hello? Because she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And so, Mike has to beat him to the front door.
Yeah.
We talked about the tour before you came in as far as where people can get tickets, but you guys should go see it. It's a great show. And just find the show that's closest to you.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, and I, it's crazy because we've started to have a lot of people fly from different countries even now because obviously there's only so many shows you can have in different states. But it's an amazing, these are amazing Christmas cities where you can fly to Boston, Chicago, New York, Nashville, St. Louis, Detroit. You could fly to these cities that feel Christmassy. There's so many different activities you can have around for a weekend for these shows. It's just it's the perfect date night, whether if you want to have a big date night. It's I had so many friends of mine thank me because it's the perfect date night when they go out on a date night. Or you bring your whole family, bring the kids. It's just kind of the perfect scenario for family and for connection and for just a place to have something fun around the holidays.
All right, final 2 questions. Where's the coolest place you've ever been?
Coolest place? Switzerland's probably my favorite. I love Switzerland. I think I could live there for, I don't know about a year, but I could live there multiple months. And I'm thinking about doing that at some point. So I love Switzerland. I love Costa Rica, as you know. I love hikes and being in nature, rainforests. Those are 2 of my favorite places for sure.
Totally different.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're both nature, very
but cold and hot.
Yeah. But Switzerland's it just feels so untouched, and Costa Rica does too in some ways. When you're in the rainforest, you feel like not the main thing going on there. I mean, there's so much just nature surrounding you, and you're just a part of it. It's really cool. Switzerland feels so perfect in the craziest way when you go there. It's so serene. It is so peaceful, and so clean.
We tried to go. Caitlin got sick at the airport.
That's right.
Our bags went.
I remember that.
And they had to ship
them
back.
Are they still there? No?
They're not. They came back with snow on them.
Yeah.
They got dropped off at the house with snow on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we haven't been that we'd really love to go. But yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not a cold guy.
Let's go there.
I'm not a cold guy. I'm also not a beach guy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the beach at all.
Just get bored?
What am I going to do?
So you get you can't just sit there and lay in the...
If there's a water sport, but the ocean doesn't really have water sports because the waves.
So you can't sit by the pool and read a book or anything, or can you?
I mean, I can, but if I'm going to read a book, why not do it in the air conditioner?
Yeah, I mean that's not bad. What about what about more of a 75, sunny and 75 kind of place?
It's fine if I have a reason to be out there.
Okay.
I don't have a reason to just be outside for the sake of being outside.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my early life outside. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I never went to the beach. I also, I don't drink. So some of my friends, they want to go to the beach and sit on the beach and, drink beach drinks or get wasted. Or as we get older, it's not so much get wasted.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a need. If I'm going to be hot and sweaty, I'll just play a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Caitlin say about that? When
she likes the beach.
Because she likes the beach, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she likes hikes and stuff too.
Yeah, no, she's extremely normal. She's normal and mentally healthy. And,
Yeah.
she She's on it.
But it works for that reason. You know, it's like she can have her thing, you can have yours.
Yeah, except I don't really have a thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's my thing? I'll ask what.
Sports.
Yeah, but like
all of them.
Sure, but I mean like vacation even.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't have a place that I like to go like you do. I don't.
Yeah.
Like what do I want to do? Mostly I just want to sleep in my own bed.
Yeah.
And get to sleep in.
Do you prefer routine and being home nowadays more like, you know, you've always traveled all over the place. I mean, you're always traveling. But like, as you've grown up more, have you feeling like routine and like just being in the same place is way better for you? Like even if you're able to go and do something really cool?
It's a bit grass is greener.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm doing, the other is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm here and I'm doing a lot of time at home now because I have multiple podcasts and I just can't leave.
Yeah.
And I'm not touring at all. And I'm like, man, I could really be out on the road having a great time. But then once I get on the road, I'm like, I don't like this.
I want to be home.
Yeah, I'd rather be home and sleep in my own bed. Yeah. So I think if I could just do it in spurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a happiness chase that I don't think you don't actually catch the rabbit ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I think part of happiness is knowing you're never going to catch the rabbit. So a little bit, enjoy the fact that you're getting to chase the rabbit instead of catching the rabbit.
Yeah.
I think that's what I try to focus on more now.
Yeah.
I'll never be happy not catching the rabbit.
Yeah.
But I can be a little more happy in the chase of the rabbit, knowing that pure happiness isn't the actual catching of the rabbit.
Yeah.
So that's a weird answer to
I
that
love
question.
rabbits.
Yeah.
Rabbit talk.
Last question. It's not, it's a figurative rabbit.
Yeah.
Not a real rabbit.
Yeah.
Which of your hits almost didn't happen?
Trying to think which one almost didn't happen. I think Love Someone almost didn't happen, and it almost became a song called Cycles. I think that was what it was.
How does that happen? Like, what happened?
Well, I know Beat of the Music. I had cut Beat of the Music with another friend of mine before, and they were just like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. It's not quite working right, which is fine, and nothing against that person. It just wasn't, the right person for that song or whatever. And so at that point, it felt like that song was kind of dead in the water. And I was like, man, the original demo is pretty great. Why don't we just build off the energy of that? And I went to Ross, and Ross Copperman.
Yeah.
Sorry. Who we wrote a lot of.
We have microphones in front of us now. It's not just us talking.
Yeah. I know. So we both know Ross. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Ross Copperman, who I've written a bunch of my songs with, and he produced a lot of my music. And I was like, why don't we just make a bunch of this stuff? And actually, that's what happened. Was then all of a sudden he started producing, because Don't Ya was actually produced by, I wrote with Ashley Gorley and Chris Stefano. Chris produced that, and then Ross, I went and cut Beat of the Music with somebody else, and Mean to Me, and Beat of the Music didn't quite work, and they weren't feeling it. So I took it to Ross. I was like, let's just cut it, you and I. And then all of a sudden, that connection of him just creating the music became a thing. And I remember I was playing a show in, I think it was Oregon or something. I remember pacing around the parking lot. I was with Scott Hendricks, was my A&R guy at Warner. And he's like, man, if we could go with a lot of these different songs, but I really think Be the Music is definitely the next single. And I remember thinking, we went from nobody's sure this was the right thing at all to, if you stick with the song, and you believe in it, it can make a huge turn. All of a sudden, like we're talking about this being the single, and then it became the most played song on country radio that year. And so it's like, you just got to stick with it sometimes. And also when we were recording Beat of the Music, we go the first verse, chorus, and we go to a bridge before the even second verse, which nobody really ever does that. And there was an engineer, or there was somebody in the studio, some part of the recording crew, that thought it was crazy that we were putting a bridge. It wasn't one of the producers, but somebody else in there thought it was crazy that we were putting a bridge before the second verse. And I was like, no, we were like, no, it just feels right. We're putting a bridge in this spot, and kind of fought it for a while, and we kept it in after the first chorus, and it worked. And it's very unconventional, but it was, so that song really had a kind of a crazy journey.
How's the bridge go?
Oh, why wouldn't I want to stay? Oh, and let that plane fly away. Hey, hey, because you got the soul and you know how to use it. Yeah. So that's a bridge, and then it goes back to another verse after that chorus. And that's just usually...
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, it's a bridge.
There's an early bridge in that song.
Yeah. It's weird. And
I don't think it's that... Again, I'm a consumer. Yeah. However, I do know music.
Like your ear doesn't say, they went bridge. Yeah,
never.
Yeah.
And my ear says a lot of things. If a song starts with a chorus, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They started with a chorus. Or they did 2 verses before a chorus, which is very traditional like the 90s.
Yeah.
But I've never heard that song and thought, that bridge is way too early, because usually, like you said, it goes verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Sometimes double chorus.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like I learned something today.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. How do you feel?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
Feel really good.
Yeah, good.
I'm not.
We haven't started recording yet. Now that was the loose.
Now we're starting.
That was us dancing before the stage, like with you and your band. Now we're gonna hit record.
Yeah.
All right, you guys go check out Brett's shows. They're really awesome. And the thing about Brett is he was going to do no promotion for this. I know you, and I was like, dude, your tickets are going on sale Friday, and I put because I do love you. I put myself in your shoes, and I'm like, if it were me, I'd be so anxious about tickets going on sale, even with a highly successful tour, many years. And so I just texted you. I was like, dude, come do promo. And
well, thank you.
Hop over to the house and we'll do this. So
that's the kind of friend you are.
This has been awesome. I appreciate you coming over. And you guys go to the shows. We'll put the information down in the bottom. And that is Brett Eldredge. And we'll see you again in like 7 years over here.
Yes, we'll see
That's about it. All right.
Yeah.